And welcome to the Rocker Skating Podcast News of the Week. It is the week of U.S. Thanksgiving, so November 24th to November 30th. And there was a lot of stuff that happened this week that some of them were expected and some of them were like, whoa, we got some interesting things that we're going to talk about here. Michelle, should we
Hi.
talk about ice dance to start?
Yes, always. Let's go.
So, what happened?
Well, so I read our friends at Anything GOEs announced that they got a comment from the ISU or a response from the ISU regarding the very, very strict calling and strange judging at Grand Prix Finland. And the ISU said that they are now investigating the dance event at that competition and the way it was judged. As with most ISU investigations, I feel like this will go nowhere, but I think it is interesting that they are investigating it and responding to the skaters who spoke out. And I think it's, the right move considering the high profile athletes that were speaking out about it.
Well, there were enough skaters who actually said something about it
Yeah.
this time around, especially. I mean, I think there was at Skate America, we heard a little bit of something from folks, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody really kind of went out on a limb and like talked about
Yeah.
things. It was more like, okay, well, we got it. And I do think that it having been 2 weeks in a row of that,
Mm-hmm.
Finlandia Trophy people were very vigilant of what was potentially going to happen with calls, and we
Mm-hmm.
saw basically the same thing that happened. Obviously, there were a couple of things that were um, different, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
than before. I mean, that's also to say we were talking about this in the podcast last week. Roskova and Majek got a very similar call on their choreographic rhythm sequence in their rhythm dance last year,
Mm-hmm.
and there was none of this ado about it. And part of it was because they probably were like, well, we'll fix it, or like, well, we'll
Yeah.
do something about it. Versus this was a very kind of big like what the
How
f
dare you?
happened. Yeah, exactly. How dare you kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
Guillaume Cicerone gave a number of interviews.
Yeah. He told La Keep that he knew that the technical controller, Sean Redstadt, was going to do something to them. He didn't know what it was. And he said that the role of the head of the ISU technical committee, quote, deserves a lot more competence than Redstadt is bringing to it. That is some audacity to say that about the head of the technical committee of
It's
your
a
sport.
lot. I mean, he is literally
But
Sean Redstadt is literally the one who is approving and or whatever
mm-hmm,
the rules that are coming out every single year. And in
mm-hmm,
some ways, because he's sort of setting and approving rules, he's probably one who knows the most about it, right? Or like
mm-hmm.
or at
Well,
least whatever it is that you're trying to say. He's supposed to be the one
yeah,
who
yeah,
knows the most about it.
yeah.
Um,
There's
so
been
it's
there's
gone
been such an
somewhere.
emotional reaction from the athletes too. I think what's been different about this. I was watching CBC has a skating show on YouTube, and Asher Hill hosts it, and he was talking about the dance event, and he recounted a story he heard from Piper Gillis, who said multiple girls were crying in the locker room after they got their levels on the rhythm dance. I mean, that's pretty dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I also saw on figure skating message board FS Universe one of the post. I know, I'm on there. One of the posters did a breakdown of the different elements in dance and the levels they got for each across each Grand Prix, and it was really interesting because if it was sort of like an arc, and the levels got you got less and less of the level 3 and 4s on the key elements as the Grand Prix went on. It was a very interesting kind of diagram, and it really looked like something happened in the course of the Grand Prix that made the callers start being pickier.
Well, and it makes sense too because Sean Redstadt was ended up being the last two,
Yeah.
right? Like so,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
easy to quote unquote detect patterns when you literally have a pattern breaker right at the end.
Yeah. I mean, even in the middle, it was starting
Yeah,
to move. It
yeah.
was happening. Um,
Oy.
just interesting to see. I love charts.
What a surprise that we have an ice dance issue during an Olympic season.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, like we remember the ISU investigation on the stuffed missile that was thrown on the
Oh my
ice.
God.
We didn't hear anything about that. Let's see how that turns out this
Yeah.
time around. I'm guessing because it's so high
Yeah.
profile that somebody will say something about it.
I mean, I was thinking back to, I mean, this is vintage, but the 2002 Olympic season when the Lithuanians kept being scored strangely, and the Lithuanian Federation kept submitting petitions about their results. And then at Worlds, this federation submitted a petition, and then the skaters submitted the petition. Like, skaters from like 38 different skaters from different countries signed it saying, we want an explanation of what's going on with the judging of this team. And still nothing happened. So it's just it's interesting when everyone is this unhappy. It's strange.
It won't be it won't be an Olympics without a figure skating controversy, I think.
Yeah, well, that's true. I
Let's keep our fingers crossed that that doesn't happen. I do not want to like let's just have good skating and have good results or whatever you want to call them.
have nice high levels at the Grand Prix final,
Yeah, we'll see.
and then forward.
Grand Prix final in less than a week, and we will see how that all goes. I am willing to bet we are going to have higher levels this time around. I mean, it's not Sean Redstedt calling anything. So, well, that was Ice Dance. Let's move over to our pairs friends. We've been talking about citizenship issues all season long, and one of the ones that we've been following is Anastasia Golubieva, who has been trying to get her Australian citizenship. And it was something of a mystery as to what was happening over the past few months because they withdrew from all their Grand Prix, they withdrew from their challengers, they haven't skated, we haven't seen them, and we were trying to figure out what was going on. I messaged them last week, and they were saying, you know, kind of fingers crossed, everything's looking good. We can't say anything right now, and so forth. Stasia Golubieva just posted on Instagram that basically, I'm just going to read this because it'll be easier coming from the reading. During the off season, while we were preparing for our Grand Prix events, we suddenly faced issues related to my Australian citizenship. Because of that, we had to urgently fly to Australia and stay there for some time to sort everything out. And the situation prevented us from leaving the country and caused us to miss a Grand Prix assignment and several challenger events. On top of that, she also had a concussion. And so it's been a challenging season, off season and season for them so far. But she said, finally, my citizenship process is almost complete. At the 11th hour, it is November 30th. We are getting close to the wire. So,
Yeah.
fingers crossed that everything will work out soon. She does say, I truly hope you will see us back on the ice very soon. Now, they are assigned or they are entered into Golden Spin next week. And so is that the soon? Maybe. We'll see. But for those of you who are fans of Golubieva and Giotopoulos more, this is very good news coming out of that camp, given that we haven't seen them all season.
Yeah.
Citizenships. There were a couple of other things that happened. If you all remember the neutral athletes discussion from Russia and Belarus, there was a whole thing around basically. Long story short, Russia and Belarus had to submit one entry per discipline to be eligible to compete at the Olympic qualifying event in Beijing in September. And at that point, those submitted names had to be vetted, and they were vetted, and the pairs were not allowed, and the ice dance team was not allowed, and so ended up being for Russia, ended up being Gumenik and Petrosian for Russia and Safonova for
Hmm.
Belarus, who qualified at that event. And then they had to do a final check, I guess.
Yeah, like a committee reviewed them. And they were all cleared
They
this
were all
week.
cleared.
So
They
we
were all
will
cleared.
see them in Milan.
We sure will. So that
Hmm.
that was more news from there. There were a couple other things to close this out, which was there was an Italian test skate.
Another one.
Another one, number two. We talked about this last week, where we know that these test skates do count for points
Hmm.
for the Olympic and for the Olympics and for World and for Europeans, and so getting this out of the way, the skaters get 95% of their total points counted in the math, and so originally we were going to see Nikolai Memela and Matteo Rizzo have a head-to-head here. We'll talk about Matteo Rizzo because he was actually also at another competition also.
Crazy boy.
Yeah, Rizzo ended up withdrawing, as did Gabriele Frangipani, and so it ended up being Rafaela Zeke and Nikolai Memela being in the competition. Nikolai Memela had a hard fall in a short program
Hmm.
and decided to withdraw. Took himself to a doctor to get basically his pelvis checked because he wants to make sure nothing like happened with that fall. And while that was going on, his car got broken into, and his
Uh,
skates and his short program costume got stolen from said car. Nikolai Memela was not having a
Terrible.
good weekend.
Like crazy. What are
And
they going to do with that stuff anyway?
I mean,
Like you said, we'll
if
see
you're
someone next season skating to Tosca in an extra large costume that's a little bit too long for them.
I'm betting on Halloween for that
Yeah,
extra large costume. So be on the lookout if
that's
you're
awful.
in
Poor
Italy.
Nikolai.
Yeah, poor Nikolai. And Italian Nationals is coming up in a couple of weeks, so
Hmm.
he has a sore pelvis to deal with, and he has to either break in new skates or
Hmm.
go with another pair of skates that he currently has. That's a lot to deal with.
Hmm.
So best of luck to you, Nikolai. The women's event was a lot less dramatic. Anna Pezzetta ended up actually withdrawing from that one. She was supposed to be in it. She's been competing quite a bit, so I think she needed probably a break. Laranaki Gutman trounced the
Shark.
competition.
Sharknaki.
Shark
Struck.
Sharknaki won it by 22 points at 207.
Let's go.
Yeah, so
207 is awesome.
207 with a fall in the free skate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
We love
probably
Italian cooking.
probably a little bit biased here, but I do think
Hmm.
that she's been underscored
Yeah, I agree.
internationally.
Hmm.
And her getting a 134 for her free skate with a fall, I think is actually kind of right.
Right. Yeah.
So we'll see where that goes. But Laranaki Gutman has signed probably half of her ticket to
Hmm.
Milan at this point. She needs to have a good nationals, and she has a very, very strong lead going into nationals right now, given the points that she has. I mean, she's had three competitions over 200 now, so
Hmm.
that's a big deal. Sarina Joes gets silver with a 185, so she kind of enters the conversation a little bit more. Ginevra Lavinia Negrello third with 169.12. So my guess is for Europeans, Gutmann, Pezzetta, and Sarina Joes are probably in there
Hmm.
for those spots. So that's the Italian test gate. There were a lot more things going on, including
Hmm.
the British National Championships. National Championship season has started, folks, and there's a lot of stuff going on. Nobody is surprised at any of the people who won at British Championships. Fear Gibson won with the ice dance. Edward Appleby gets the men's title again. Vaipanla and Digby also get they get the pairs title, and the return of Kristen Spores, which is actually very good to see that she's back because she took the entire season off so far. She had surgery over
Mm-hmm.
the off season. Then at the beginning, she was like, I need to take some time off for my mental health and my physical health. We didn't know when she was going to be back, if she was going to be back this season. And she is back, and she wins nationals very definitively. And, my guess is she will get that spot that she earned for the Olympics
Mm-hmm.
for the women. And so they have three spots, right? Four spots. Fear Gibson and Becker Hernandez will get
Mm-hmm.
those ice dance spots. I am assuming
Yeah.
there's no way anybody else is getting them. Vipendla Digby getting the pair spot.
Mm-hmm.
Appleby will be in the team event.
Hopefully, there's a spot for him.
There should be,
Yeah.
hopefully, there should be a
Mm-hmm.
spot. And then Kristen Spores will likely get the women's spot. So,
I read something really interesting about this Fear and Gibson win. It's their eighth national title, which makes them the most decorated British team ever at nationals because Torval and Dean and Sinead and John Kerr only won seven each, which is
it is
crazy
crazy.
to be more decorated than Torval and Dean.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
British championship decorated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, Fear and Gibson has been, it's crazy to think they've been around for that long, and they
Mm-hmm.
have. They've been working their way up. So, British championships. A couple other things I'm going to just touch on it very quickly. Japan had some local competition that I followed for no reason. It was the Aichi event. I followed it because there were some interesting results. Rino Matsuke wins. There's only a short program. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
they did a full competition. It was only a short program. Rino Matsuke wins the short program. Mako Yamashita gets the second spot. And then Manakawa Bay gets third. All three of them skated clean or near clean programs. I got like 66 to 69 points or something like that. It was a nice little competition for those three. It's got to be
So like the
nice.
top three question mark girls in Japan,
I
they
know.
hit, they do so well,
I
but they
know.
don't always hit.
I know exactly.
Mako Yamashita, remember she almost won Skate Canada
I
and
know.
then she's very unpredictable.
She is very
Yeah.
unpredictable. So that was another little competition. There's another international called Santa Claus Cup. Santa Claus is
Oh
coming to
yeah.
town in Hungary. Yushang Li wins the men's event. Andreas Montesinos wins the women's event. It like there are all kinds of crazy things going on,
Mm-hmm.
and then Bratty Somerville in the ice dance event gets the win there. So there was a lot of just general things going on, and glad to be able to cover it for all of you. That was news of the week for this Thanksgiving week, and we'll talk to you again next week. I'm sure there's a lot more to come. All right, welcome to the Rocker Skating Podcast. Michelle, hi.
Hi.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. I did a Pilates class in the morning and then my mom cooked like an amazing vegan feast and we watched the dog show and ate it. And the Bedlington Terrier was so cute. Her name was Delta. I was just like, she made my night. She was so cute. They're funny little dogs. How was
Delta.
yours?
It was good. I spent it eating and then preparing for Korean ranking competition that
Oh my
I
God. Yeah, you were up all night.
decided to stay up for. I was just, I'm just so excited. So the reason we're going to talk about two things here. We're going to talk about the Korean ranking competition, and we're going to talk about the Tallinn Trophy. And the reason that I stayed up for the Korean ranking competition is because this is basically Nationals Part One.
Mm-hmm.
Now, some people will be like, no, that's not Nationals Part One. Nationals is like Nationals. But the reason I say that is because the Olympic spots for the Korean team are based on the addition of the total points from two competitions. It's very simple. Like there's no selection process. There's no anything like that. It is literally a this competition adds to that competition equals if you're going to make it to on the team or not. And there's no nothing, no nonsense about it. It's very that's how the Koreans have been for a long time, and that's how they will be putting together their teams this year. And so for the Olympics, it is the Korean ranking competition, which happened this past weekend, plus nationals, which will happen in the first week of January. So this is basically halfway there to the Olympics. Now, the other thing that is interesting about these two events is that the ranking competition determines who goes to four continents. And then the nationals event in January will determine who goes to worlds. So in some ways, they're doing a bit of a body of work.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna take two competitions that have together.
It's an interesting situation where you're actually like sending the top scorers to four continents. I feel like four continents being the week before the Olympics, you'd want to send maybe your B team the way the US does, but I guess not.
I mean,
Let's make them compete.
there is a very real possibility that they end up not going. But that is also to say, the team event goes first, right? And so South Korea is not expected to be contending for medals there, and so that they can be, maybe a little bit less on for that first week, and be more on in the later weeks. The four continents will be in Beijing, so it won't be terribly far from them.
That's true.
So
Unless you're Lim and Kwan.
unless you're Lim and Kwan, let's talk about Lim and Kwan because they
Yeah.
had to fly all the way
The
to Korea
champions of the dance event.
to win the one team dance event.
Yeah.
It was like
I will say the videos I watched of this, the crowd was really into it. So I feel like it might have been kind of fun in the end to go and have that kind of reception. And yeah.
I gotta say these competitions. I remember watching Korean nationals maybe like 10 years ago, and it was like in some random rink with no seats, and they've gotten to like this. This was in like an arena, right? I wish they had taken the hockey plexiglass down, but whatever. But it's nice to see, like, especially given the history of Korean skating over the past 15 years, and the Yuna Kims and the Junwon Chas of the world, right? Being making the comp or the sport more popular there. It's nice to see these events getting more traction. Now, do I wish that they had a better way of scoring, like or showing the scoring to the public? I do, because there has yet to be a Korean domestic competition where there's a live scoring web page that is available to the public, and then the graphics,
more than one camera,
or more than one
like
camera.
one person in the second level just on a camcorder.
It wasn't bad though. They didn't do a bad job with it. I've seen
it was fine.
Yeah, Tallinn Cup or Tallinn Trophy had, I think, multiple cameras, and they were very shaky. So it wasn't bad. Anyway, I am glad that they made it available for all of the world to see. It was streamed over YouTube, and it was nice to be able to watch it in the middle of the night while many other people were also watching. So Lim and Kwan wins the ranking competition.
Let's go.
Yi Kwan, of course, got his citizenship, and so they are halfway. They're halfway to qualifying.
4 continents, in the team event, in the individual event in Milan. We'll see them at Worlds. We're going to see a lot of Men in Black.
They're going to be everything.
Yeah.
I got to say, true fact.
Yeah.
Will Smith's Men in Black was a favorite song of mine when I was growing up as a teenager. I no longer like that song.
Interesting.
I'm not really sure what it is. I have a fondness for a lot of '90s songs, but when like Men in Black comes on, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I can skip it.
Mm.
But they do a good job of it. All right, let's
Mm-hmm.
go. Let's talk about the men first. I'm still on Santa Claus Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about the men first for the ranking competition. It was one of those things where we came in and we were like, what's going to happen with Junwon Cha?
Mm-hmm.
Because he has been so erratic this season with the boot problems and the injury issues and all of the stuff that's been going on. And like there there was a chance, albeit probably a small chance, right? But a chance that he could have fallen out of the top two of the senior men, especially if he continued to skate the way that he's been skating this season. But
I
he's
did
made.
not acknowledge that chance.
I know you did
I
not.
chose not to acknowledge it,
I know you did not.
and I made the right decision.
I mean, especially given that Hung Young Kim has had a good season so far.
Mm-hmm.
Si Young Lee had that really great one competition
Mm-hmm.
internationally. You could see that happening. You
Mm-hmm.
see it, but it's like a very, very small chance. That didn't happen. Jin Wan Cha ended up making changes to both of his programs. Well, the short program already, he had already taken the quad toe out in the last event that he was in.
Mm-hmm.
And in the free skate, he took it out altogether. So no more quad toe, at least for now. That was
Yeah,
the one that I felt like always was like giving him just like anxiety.
I read some comments from him, and he said he spent the last 2 weeks trying to figure out the boot issues, and that he's feeling more stable in the ones he's in, but he's just not quite ready to do all of his content yet.
I'm like,
Thoughts and prayers.
I know. I'm saying this to Junwan Cha, and I'm also saying this to Mateo Rizzo. Just leave the quads at home and like
Mm-hmm.
do a clean a triple program.
Yeah.
Junwan did a good quad sow in the free, but he
Mm-hmm.
doubled it again in the short, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's you're just throwing 10 points on the table.
Well, I wouldn't say leave the sow out. He can do
I
that.
know,
Leave the toad home.
but
You
it's
know.
still 50% here.
Yeah. But we want June to contend like for the podium, so
We
he needs to get them in there. He needs the points.
His quad sow is a beauty when
So
when
good.
it's on. All right, Mink You Saw was the
Mm-hmm.
one who won it, 262.84. He
Yeah,
is
his
not
free skate
eligible.
was good.
Very good. Not eligible for the Olympics. He's too young.
Mm.
But what a talent. I mean, we've seen him over the past few years, first like kind of struggling with the triple axel, but we knew what his potential was. Now he's got his triple axel in tow, and now he's trying to get the quad sow in order. And the quad sow and the free skate, he had a very big fist pump right
Mm-hmm.
afterwards, and he skated basically a clean free skate,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so quality.
Mm-hmm.
He does not skate like a junior. He is very much an all around package, and love to see him get those two programs out there the way that he did here. And it'll be interesting to see what happens at Junior Grand Prix Final, which he'll be at
Mm-hmm.
this coming week.
Yeah, I was gonna say Junior Worlds, but yeah, we have the final next week.
We have so many things
Yeah.
happening very soon. Habin Choi, who was the leader going into the free skate, hit a couple of very nice quad lutzes, one in the short, one in the free, and he goes like also into the junior Grand Prix final with a very strong skate at the Korean ranking competition. They end up 1 and 3. Jin Wan Cha was second, and so as we were saying earlier, Jin Wan Cha then gets a spot at 4 continents because of it, and Hyung Young Kim and Jae Kun Lee, who are 4th and 5th, end up getting the other 2 spots for 4 continents. Now, again, we will see whether or not they end up taking that spot, especially the 2 skaters who will end up going to the Olympics. But that was a fun little competition there, because it was nice to just see these guys be in kind of nationals competitive mode, right? Like,
Hmm.
it's still not nationals yet, but it is, given the uh, given how important this competition is for the Olympic spots,
Hmm.
it felt like a nationals. Now, one thing that I loved also, which felt a little less like nationals, was when Si Young Lee came on the ice for his free skate. Somebody, I think it might have been Jinso Kim, or somebody was holding up a sign
Hmm.
behind him, and the sign said "Bolero Devil." I liked that little levity. I mean, he's such a character,
Yeah.
Si Young Lee. Um, but it was good to see. I mean, he had two not great skates here, and
Hmm.
he's pretty far out now. He's got a 23 point deficit that he has to make up at
Mm.
nationals to get that second spot for Korea. So gonna be tough to make it up in that time. Now, that is to say, he had a 260 point competition earlier in the season internationally. So
Mm.
you know it's
He can do
there.
it.
He can do it.
Yeah.
But he did look like unusually slow in this
Yeah.
competition. So I don't know if there is something that's bothering him here.
Yeah. I mean, it could also be the pressure of how much this competition mattered. I mean, you saw some skaters really throwing down, like they knew it was really important to
Yeah.
them. And I mean, psychologically, it could have just been a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, for sure.
But he needs to unleash the Bolero devil.
I know. Unleash the Bolero Devil, C Young. You got a month to do it. All right. So the men, that gives you a sense of the stakes. The 29 women who competed in the ranking competition, and I stayed up
Crazy.
for so many of them. Um,
Crazy.
there was some really good skating in there. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we know with Korean domestic events, there's going to be a lot of skaters who has big jumps,
Mm-hmm.
has hard technical content, all of that stuff. We saw two triple axels, one in the short from UJ Kim,
Mm-hmm.
who ended up leading the short program, and then one in the free from her sister Yusong Kim, who had a rough short program, but ended up making a nice comeback and ended up sixth overall. But it was your girl Jia Shin
Yeah, let's
skating the
go.
best that she has skated all season long when
Yeah.
it matters the most. It was very good to see.
Yeah. I was from your tweets. I was very excited to see that she skated clean, and I watched both of her programs, and I felt like she was so focused on skating clean. There was
Mm-hmm.
not a lot of projection in her programs, but there was a lot of expression at the end of the free skate when she finished it, more than in the
You do
program
what you got
itself.
to do. I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
it was very focused. It was very like she's there for business,
Yeah.
and the whole point of this is to qualify for the Olympics. That is the
Yeah.
important part in this whole thing, and so she did that. I do think that sometimes the camera angle
Mm-hmm.
from kind of like a nosebleed perspective makes it hard for you to see anything in terms of
Yeah.
expression. So who knows? But
Yeah.
her skating skills will get her there
Mm-hmm.
for sure. So Jia Shin trounces the competition. She wins by double
Mm-hmm.
digits. UJ Kim, as I was saying, who was leading after the short program, um, fell on a triple axel, had a couple other mistakes, ends up silver.
Mm-hmm.
She is not age eligible for the Olympics, nor is her twin sister, not surprisingly, given they're
Yeah.
twins. Um, so those two are in the ranking competition. Will not be at the Olympics, obviously, but will be at the Junior Grand Prix final
Mm-hmm.
in a few days. So again, very good setup for them coming in. And then the fight for really now the fight for the second spot because Gia has
Mm-hmm.
had such a good first competition. Cheon Kim, 201.78 gets the bronze.
Mm-hmm.
Hay and Lee, 195.80. So they're separated by 6 points going into Japan
It's
or
one.
Korean nationals.
It's one jump.
One jump,
Uh,
less than a
uh,
jump.
Cheon has sort of, she had showed some instability at the beginning of the season, and I feel like she's sort of gotten back to her
She has.
baseline, which is landing everything. Yeah, I feel like she's probably the likeliest contender, but
I think
we'll,
so
we'd
as
love to see
well.
Hyen do it. I felt like Hyen and Young Yu both looked a little tight on their jump landings here, as they have done throughout the season.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
I was gonna say the big thing with all three of them,
Mm-hmm.
Cheon, Hayan, and Young, all three of them have been jump rotations, and of the
Mm-hmm.
three, Cheon is the one who probably has the cleanest
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But still, like this season has not been the most. It's been more difficult for Cheon to get the
Mm-hmm.
rotations in. I mean, I saw all three of the jumps for in the second half of Cheon's programs. The ones that get the most points because she backloads her two
Mm-hmm.
lutzes and the triple triple combination, the triple S triple toe, and the triple flip. Like
Mm-hmm.
those should get a lot of points, but she's also
Yeah.
losing a lot of points because
Yeah.
she's not rotating them fully. Um, so we'll see if she can clean those up in the next month or so.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are going to the Grand Prix finals, so they will have time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I do have to say I was looking also at some of the protocols in the short program. I do think that this panel was a little bit lenient because there were other calls that could have
Mm-hmm.
happened if had this been sometime mid Grand Prix series, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
those jumps would have been called at least a Q, and I
Yeah.
don't know if they were even reviewed. I had no access to the system, so I don't know. But Jiashin for sure skated the cleanest out of all of them, and was a well deserved win. One of my favorites was Saw Jin Yoon, who ended up fourth, and for me, I actually thought Saw Jin Yoon should have been on the podium over Cheon Kim. Her jumps were clean. She skated a very, very strong free skate, and I love. She's got great carriage, really good, just strong basics. I think she's a really good up and coming skater from the junior ranks. She will also not be eligible for the Olympics because of age, but I mean, not surprisingly, with Korea, there's a lot of up and
Mm-hmm.
coming skaters coming up, and the other one I wanted to point out was Ji Yu He, who also skated really well. I think you would love her skating. I don't know if you had a
Yeah.
chance to watch hers, but like just she reminds me a lot of she actually reminds me a lot of Minso Kwan.
Mm. Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, like just kind of this she kind of floats on the ice,
Mm-hmm.
like has really good musicality, just like a really good basics kind of skater, and so lots of interesting things there. So Gia,
Sajin
yes,
Yoon was born on August 11th, 2008. So 42 days too young. That's frustrating.
these age limits or these age cutoffs are so
Yeah.
they're so unforgiving. It's like you're
Yeah.
literally left just like 42 days.
Yeah. I mean,
Like
it feels like a curse on Mao Shimada, because we were like, when she first came out in junior, it's like, oh, how cute. She's named after Mao Asada. Like,
I know,
fortunately, she won't suffer the same fate. Not so fast.
and now and
Age
and now
limit.
now that's
Yeah.
happening.
My hot take is that I don't think there should be age limits on anything. Well, maybe like an upper limit on junior, that we should just use components correctly and then it wouldn't be a problem. But no, nobody asked me.
Using
Anyway,
components using components correctly is a whole different story.
yeah.
I
All right, tell me about Gia.
Jia Shin, Cheon Kim, and Hae Lee. They get the four continent spots,
Mm.
and the next three, Asun Yun. Asun Yun actually had a very good short program, and probably the best that we've seen her this season. She was, if you remember last year, she was the one who was kind of like somewhat of the surprise of the
Mm-hmm.
season, and made it to Worlds. But the season has not been quite as strong, but she feels like she's kind of rounding back into form. Now, she is 15, 16 points behind Hay and Lee, so it's going to be tough to even get to that third spot,
Mm.
right? Korea only has two spots for the women. And then Young Yu is the next in line for the senior women, 176.87. Very tough to see her making it to the Olympics at this point, but a strong skate. This is the thing about redemption at Korean nationals, right? If you do very well at Korean nationals, you might not get the Olympic spot, but you can get a world spot
Mm.
because that's the only one that's there. So South Korea ranking competition, we got it. Should we go to the other side of the globe?
Yeah, I think so.
Tallinn Trophy.
This is the first competition in Tallinn this season. I
I
think.
feel like we have like 8 competitions in Tallinn every season. Like
Usually, yeah.
usually.
Uh-huh. They've even hosted 4 continents.
I know. They hosted Europeans and four
Yeah.
continents in the same year.
Yeah.
Um, there was this was a Challenger Series event, much like last week when we were talking about Warsaw Cup, and then next week when we will be talking about the Golden Spin. Uh, for the men, it was not surprisingly a lot of menning happening,
Mm.
but Alexander Selevko wins it. This was not a particularly well skated event, with a 2:37 winning
Yeah.
the competition. Selevko wins it. Matteo Rizzo, we were talking about the Italian test skates. There were people who were like, Matteo Rizzo, are you about to do 2 competitions back to back in
Yeah.
4 days' time? And he ended up
Yeah.
not doing it.
Yeah.
2:31 for him. Arlet Levandi 2:28.52. So the fight for the Estonian Olympic spot continues,
Mm-hmm.
and that is to say, Arlet Levandi is not out of it quite yet, nor is
I,
Mihail Selevko.
but
But
Alexander Selevko is out ahead.
exactly,
Yeah.
he's got it. Especially after that one very good Grand Prix that he had.
Mm-hmm.
He is in the realm of getting the qualification. And I remember you saying, Michelle, I haven't taken a look at this, but the Estonian criteria is literally 2 competitions, and they're international events, so nationals doesn't count.
Yeah, that's I believe what Selevko said at Skate Canada.
Now
That was yeah.
let's see if we can find the documentation so that we can confirm it, because we have had national skaters tell us things before that are
Yeah.
not quite
Not
exactly
quite.
right.
Not quite.
Um,
But it is a point adding
yeah,
thing.
the
So I
point
think
adding.
I mean just looking at what their scores have been across the season, I think Alexander is probably
Totally.
the one to catch.
Yep, exactly.
Um,
Max Naumov
mhm.
ended up 4th with a 2:23. Not quite what he had done a few weeks ago. Um, and so, I think he was probably hoping to get a little bit more momentum heading into
Mhm.
U.S. Nationals. But I will spend an entire episode at some point talking about the U.S. selection criteria, which is both a selection criteria. It's both a points adding criteria, and also it is we're going to add the points together first,
Mhm.
and then we're going to put you in a group, and then we're going to evaluate all of those people in the groups and figure out who goes. So
Mhm.
it's not quite like we're just going to add them all up and determine who it is. There's still a selection process involved, but but it is to say that all of these points over the season really do matter for the whole like getting into the short list of people
Mm-hmm.
to be considered.
Mm-hmm.
For the women, we had the return of Nina Petrikina.
Mm-hmm.
This was important for her because
Mm-hmm.
she has not had any competition so far this season because she's been out with injury and um, I believe actually recovering from a surgery again.
Mm-hmm.
So she only did triple toe and triple sow, and I think she did loop here.
She popped. I think she tried flip and she popped it. I saw her doing a couple doubles in her. I watched a fan cam of her free skate. Let's see.
She in the free
Oh no,
skate,
it was loop.
yeah,
Yeah,
she popped it up
double loop.
her triple loop. She did triple toe, triple sow, triple toe, triple sow. So given that she's not doing flip or lutz
Yeah.
yet, that probably means that there's something that the surgery was probably on her right foot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it was a good comeback. It was a more or less clean-ish skate, and
Mm-hmm.
that got her enough to get her into the 170s, which was
Mm-hmm.
good for her to be where she is. But Finlandia Trophy, you and I were talking about how Ida
Yeah.
Karhunen had it in the bag.
Yeah, because she so definitively was the top Finnish woman at that
She was.
competition.
She finished in the top of the Finnish women.
Yeah, and Olivia Lisko was like, guess again.
Not so fast, says Olivia Lisko, because Olivia Lisko scores a 196.
Yeah, and wins.
These scores were a little nuts.
Yeah, but
Um,
still, that's a very clean skate from her. I mean,
it totally is. One, two, three, four, five. It was a six triple skate. The only mistake that she had was that she popped her first triplets in the free skate, and
hmm
she had a clean short program.
hmm
So she skates like that again. Like her basics are very strong. Her basics are
hmm
stronger than Ida Karhunen's.
yeah, she's got
Um,
that Verpi Hortona technique like Laura did. When she's clean, it's like really
it's
nice.
very Finnish,
Uh
right? Like
huh.
it's
Yeah.
very those jumps. Those jumps are going to be rotated.
hmm
They're
hmm
big.
hmm
It's big skating. All of
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So Finnish nationals just got much more interesting than what we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And then you got two Americans on the podium there, Sarah Everhart and Alina Bonillo.
It's actually Bonillo.
It's Bonillo.
We
Yes, that's
asked her
right.
last year
That's
for
right. I
nationals.
forgot. I
I
forgot
know.
to. Yeah.
I want to say Bonillo too, but she wins a bronze medal at a challenger the week after she doesn't qualify for
It's
nationals.
so
Crazy.
heartbreaking.
Can we give her a bye? Let's give her one.
If she had only been in Warsaw Cup so that she could have gotten the bye.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. 183.59 for Alina, and she finished second in the free skate.
Yeah.
Sarah Everhart she just hasn't looked herself this season. I mean, she did at the
Yeah.
beginning of the season, and then like there's something that feels like she's just a little bit off her
Mhm.
confidence game.
Mhm.
Because like last year, I remember like you always just looked at her and you were like, she's gonna go and skate clean,
Yeah.
and we haven't had that this season.
I wonder if it's the free skate and she's doing something a little different and she
Mm-hmm.
kind of has to make it her own. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
I felt like last year with Firebird, it was very much like Gracie Gold's free skate. And it's just like you feel comfortable with the vehicle. Whereas this is like she has to show more of her identity. It's, a little more challenging. I don't know.
I gotta say it's good maturing for her
Mm-hmm.
artistically, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it'll be good in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
She's even coming into the season, she was going to be on the outside looking in for the Olympic spots,
Yeah.
and so I think at this point it's like Sarah Everhart going for a four continents spot to kind of close out the season. But you never know what happens at nationals. But she gets silver here. Star Andrews, after that really fantastic Skate America, ends up fifth here. She did skate a clean short, but the free skate again was just not there. And whereas at Skate America, she was so squeaky clean on all of her jumps. She had a bunch of under rotations here. So, another one of those, like, you never know what you're going to get with Star Andrews. Could be good, could be less good.
Poor Olivia Kaiser in 14th with a 137. I have a feeling she might not get to the, what does she need, 185?
185
for the Swiss Olympic team?
185. That's crazy high.
But it's also frustrating because when she's healthy, she's capable of it. It's just she's just been struggling. I mean, she helped them get that second spot.
I know.
It's cruel not to send her.
I know. I mean, she's injured and she's competing way too much, probably because she's trying to get these points, and she's like, what kind of Hail Mary can I throw to just like get a 125 in my free skate? Like, I just I mean, like, it's like a 125 in the free skate will barely get her that 185. So, here's to hoping. I mean, fingers crossed that she can somehow pull it out, because, like you said, she earned that spot for Switzerland. Over onto the ice dance, there were some. There was scoring happening there, for sure. Spartan Deke win it after having issues with their midline in the rhythm dance, but then climbing all the way up from fourth to first.
Yeah, I watched both of their performances today. I want to say thank you to the Spanish Federation for always getting everyone on YouTube as soon as they skate. They're awesome about that. Not the other skaters, but the Spanish skaters, they will be on YouTube.
They are good PR reps for their own skaters. It's really great.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Olivia and Tim skated pretty well considering they had back-to-back competitions. Olivia lost her balance on a twizzle in the midline in the rhythm dance, and that took her down to a level 1. I think that's what really hurt them. But they got a level 3 on their PST, or at least it went in as that. I don't know if they kept it. But yeah, their free dance was very strong. They kept their PST3 in the rhythm dance, which is very exciting in this climate to be getting that
in this PSTB climate.
Yeah.
The surprise for me was Johnson van Rensburg and Stefan getting silver with a 192. I mean, by far the biggest score that they've ever had in international event.
Yeah.
This is always what happens with Challenger Series events. You really don't know how to calibrate scores across with L'Oreal Legac getting like a 197 at Kenosha Cup.
That was crazy.
Like there's like a lot of these, just like, even like Bratty Somerville last week at Warsaw Cup getting getting into the 180s, and then this week at Santa Claus Cup getting lower. Like, it's just like there's a lot of variation, especially for some of those teams that depending on how the judges see them, they look very different depending on who you are.
Yeah.
The Toshler's getting third after winning the rhythm dance, and then Peyton by Val Kazimov were fourth and fifth there. A lot of competitions. Are you with me for one more?
Yeah. What else is there?
Skate Canada Challenge.
Oh my gosh! Yes, I forgot all about it. Okay, I was like, "What else?" I was watching it today.
There's so many things happening. Okay, so Skate Canada Challenge.
That tweet, Bev Smith, Canadian journalist, was live tweeting this event, and she made me laugh out loud with her commentary on it. She said, "The feed from men's free program at Skate Canada Challenge is really bad. Horrible to listen to. Skaters look to be in slow motion. Maybe they are skating in slow motion. Sound of interference terrible." I was like, oh boy.
Oh, Bev.
I was not watching the live feed, but I felt like that was the opposite of one of your tweets, Jackie, where you're just like, oh my gosh, we have a feed. Let's go.
Well, I mean, it is to say, it depends on how fast the camera refresh rate is.
Yeah.
The the quicker the refresh rate, the slower people look on the ice.
Mm, interesting.
Like the you know how like you get these like this would have been more relevant like 5 years ago, but you get these like new TVs and there's like this
Yeah.
like you can watch it in like cinematic form where things
Yeah.
blend more, or you can watch it in like quote unquote live form where
Hmm.
it looks like it is a handheld camera with a very fast refresh rate.
Yeah.
Those things look very different, right? And it's the same
Mm,
thing with figure skating. Like I remember there was one time
interesting.
I watched like a fan video of, some skater and I was like, why are you so slow? And literally
Hmm.
the week after on a Grand Prix, they were basically skating at the same kind of speed and power, and it was like they
Hmm.
looked like twice as fast.
Wow.
So the camera has a lot to do with how it
Mm.
actually looks. Okay, I'm gonna finish nerding out on the camera stuff. I'm going to talk about. Oh, speaking of L'Oreal and Legac, they win it the ice
Yeah.
dance event 195. Speaking of 190s for L'Oreal and Legac, um,
This is a domestic 190, though.
the domestic 190
Yeah.
for sure. They win the dance event. So Skate Canada Challenge, for those who don't know, is basically
Hmm.
sectionals.
Hmm.
It's the last event before Canadian nationals. So
Hmm.
it's not sectionals in the sense that like they're not skating in sections, but these are the skaters who did not get a bye to nationals, who qualified from their respective sections to this event to basically skate to get to
Some
nationals.
some of them must have buys, though. I mean, L'Oreal and Legac must have a buy to nationals. They
Yeah,
had
that's
Grand
true.
Prix assignments,
Yeah,
and
they
Fabry and Ayer were on the list, and they withdrew.
and they withdrew.
Um,
Yeah,
so yeah, I think there's also some people who just want to compete again.
yeah, for sure. Um, I think it's good. It's a
Uh-huh.
good milestone point, right? Because it's late November, and
Yeah.
especially if you only had Grand Prix events, you
Hmm.
want to then have another sort of point so that you can get some more feedback and get your programs
Yeah,
out there before Canadian Nationals happens, which
and
is
not have to fly to
in a
Europe
month, and not have to
or
fly to
Asia.
Europe. Yeah, exactly. Um, okay, the men was interesting
uh,
because it was not only the return of Keegan Messing, but it was also the return of Wesley Chu. Both of them have
hmm.
competed this season so far,
Hmm.
but neither of them have really shown. I mean, Wesley Chu had that one competition. What was it last week? Was it last week at Warsaw Cup?
Yeah.
And Keegan was at Ice Challenge a couple of weeks ago and had a
Hmm.
couple of like domestic things. Wesley Chu looked very different this week than he
Hmm.
did last week, and
Hmm.
wins it
Yeah.
224 over Keegan Messing 221. And then Alexa Rakic had an awful short program
Hmm.
and comes back to win the free skate and gets third here. So a nice little redemption for him. Had he skated just like a normal short program, Alexa would have won this event pretty
Hmm.
easily.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean the Wesley being able to hit the quad toe and the triple axel was very good to see here. I thought
Hmm.
he should have won the short program.
Hmm.
Um,
I mean, Keegan hitting those jumps too, I think was good to see based on what we've seen earlier this season from
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Can
Neither of
we
them
talk about
are terribly consistent right now. I think that's
losing
probably the
credit
problem.
for a choreo sequence in the free skate?
I that boggles my mind.
Oh, I'm sure
And
I'm
this was
looking up
Keegan
who did
Messing.
his. Yeah, I'm looking up who did his programs. I'm sure his choreographer gave him a valuable, correct choreo sequence, and
Yeah,
I'm guessing he just made it simpler
right.
to get through the program.
You literally need to
Lance
do.
Vipond, yes,
Oh yeah,
he knows how to do a choreo
Lance
sequence.
knows how to do it. Um,
Yeah.
you literally need two distinct elements choreographic elements in your choreographic sequence to make it count.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, lift your leg up for a spiral.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
he probably ended up just like doing a spread eagle, knowing Keegan Messing. He probably just
Mm-hmm.
did a spread eagle and like held it for a long time and was like, "Here's my
Mm-hmm.
choreograph sequence." I didn't get to watch the free skate, but I'll have to take a look at and see actually what
Mm-hmm.
happened.
I couldn't
Um,
find it. I was trying to find it. I did not find it yet,
it
but
it
it'll
is
turn up.
so. Pro tip:
Mm-hmm.
Skate Canada has left all of the replays on Daily Motion.
Oh,
So
nice.
you can go take a
Okay.
look at like it's an entire event replay, so you can't see
Mm-hmm.
them kind of person by person, but at least you're able to go and find all of those skates.
Mm-hmm.
I just unfortunately haven't had a time to go and watch
Mm-hmm.
the free skates yet.
Yeah, I was watching on YouTube earlier.
Yeah. Let's talk about the women because we had this is the last. I promise everyone,
Ugh.
this is the last thing we'll talk about this week. There's a lot more to talk about next week. Um, Gabby Daleman.
Let's go.
Gabby
Not
Daleman
the
wins it.
scores I would like to see her get, but it's nice to see her get a win.
You know what's nice to see? A triple
Mm.
let's triple toe clean
Yes,
from Gabby
please.
Daleman in the free skate. Like that was a really good combo for her.
Yeah.
She wins it. Juliana Shireva second. Megan Woodley uh, actually won the free skate. Michelle is
Hmm.
literally like, "Who is Megan
I
Woodley?"
These Canadian women are always pulling this on me because every time I feel like I look at a competition, I'm like, who? So like when Catherine Medlin Spence won like a challenger a couple years ago, I was like, who is this? I had never heard of her. And then I looked at the short program results and Reese Rose had won the short ahead of Gabby Daleman. And I'm like, who is that?
Look,
And then Megan Woodley. I mean, I pay attention to Canadian skating. I feel like I always watch their last group of the women at nationals. I don't know these people. Who are they? Where do they come from?
look. I generally know all of these Canadian women as well,
Yeah.
but Reese Rose winning the short program was
Yeah.
also like a who is this in my
Yeah.
mind. Now she was on the Junior Grand Prix this year,
Mm.
so she just hasn't gone into
She had
seniors quite yet, which is why
one
we haven't
event and
seen
she
her.
scored a 45 in her short program and
And
then
she
came here and scored a 62.
62.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I do like when I look down the list, I recognize a bunch of these names. It's
yeah.
just some of them I'm just like, what?
Megan Woodley.
Yeah.
Um, Megan Woodley wins the free skate, gets
Mhm.
third here. Min So Kwan was actually in contention,
Mhm.
but then just didn't have a good free skate and
Mhm.
finished fourth. Now we'll see Min So Kwan at Canadian Nationals, which will
Mhm.
be really fun to watch
Yeah.
because many people have missed seeing Min So Kwan in the competitive arena. So
Mhm.
good to see her back.
Miss her and her cat ears. Mhm.
We're a few years removed from her cats program, isn't aren't we?
I'll never forget it. It was so good.
A couple other names of note: Fianne Landry gets fifth.
Mhm.
Kaya Ryder, who has been on the scene for a couple of years and had that great Canadian Nationals a few years ago,
Mhm.
um, was sixth here. So, I do think we've said it all season long. This Canadian Nationals event,
Mhm.
especially for the women and for the men, really, for both singles competitions, is going to be really exciting to watch. Um, well, lastly, I forgot even to talk about the pairs: Yudoki and Taylor, and Secunda and
Mhm.
Furlan.
Mm.
The only two who were competing. Terry Furlan, if you remember, he skated with
Yeah.
a number of people. He was on the international circuit for a few years with Lorianne Matt, I think.
Hmm.
I'm getting the first name wrong. This is very embarrassing. Um, Terry Furlan, yeah, Lorianne Matt.
Hmm.
I did get it right. Um, he's back, so good to
Mm-hmm.
see him back in the mix. And so just two pairs here. They will both make it to the Canadians,
Nice.
while Maddie Skeezus and Pereira Michaud were opening the rink at in Toronto, the outdoor rink.
Oh yeah.
So
I read a nice article this week about how Leah Pereira and Maddie Skeezus are such good friends and have been skating together for so long. At the same rink, sometimes they share a practice ice. It was nice.
I mean, there was that year that Leah Pereira was really. I think she was. What was she at nationals? She was fifth at Canadians
Mm,
in 2023. I remember that was
mm,
the year where we were like, "Oh my gosh, Leah Pereira could be something." And then she was like, "Nope, I'm going to
mm-hmm,
become a pair skater,"
mm-hmm,
which was also great because
mm-hmm.
the very next year they ended up sixth at Worlds.
Wow, crazy.
I know.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
that was a lot. We talked about way too many competitions, and I also felt like I forgot how to podcast because we didn't have a midweek episode this week.
Do you want to do a little British ice dance trivia to close?
Okay.
So we talked about in the news of the week, we talked about how Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson have now won 8 national titles, which is the most ever by a British team. Um, they won. What year do you think they won their first national title?
Oh my god. So it definitely wasn't 9 years ago. If you're asking me that, 2012. I don't know.
Oh my gosh. I don't think Lila was like, she was probably like little kid. 2017, because Coombs and Buckland didn't go for some reason.
Oh wow, that was the
Yeah,
Coombs and Buckland era.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And in 2021, there was no nationals because of COVID.
Right.
So theoretically, they could have 9 titles,
Mm.
considering how long they've been skating and winning. The other thing I noticed is like, okay, so Fear and Gibson have the most titles ever at 8. Torval and Dean and Karen Kerr have the second most, tied at 7 each. And then the next most anyone's ever won is 4. And that was by Diane Teller and Bernard Ford. And guess who else won four titles? The
Literally no
mom
idea.
of one of our favorite ice dance friends,
Oh,
Sharon Jones and Paul Askham. And Sharon Jones is John Luke Baker's mom.
John Luke Baker's
Hmm.
mom.
Yeah, from
Wow.
1986 to 1989.
Well,
I was curious, so I pulled it up.
thank you, Michelle, for this trivia that I didn't know anything about.
Well, you had good instincts to guess on the first one, so I think if you had like finished that thought, you would have been right because you knew it was going to be more than 9 years. Hmm.
The things that I do on
Yeah,
when I have to deal with trivia and then I get it wrong.
yeah. I'm pretty
Um,
sure Penny Coombs had surgery on her foot that year, and that's why they
mm,
weren't at nationals. So I remember listening to an interview with her talking about it, and she's tough. She's like pear girl crazy. She was just like so like I'm gonna make it back. I can do it. It was very inspirational.
oh, right, that's right.
Mhm.
Because getting to the Olympics was a
Mhm.
huge deal for them because of the
Yeah.
injury. I remember that now.
And now their team is probably going to be on the Olympic team.
They will be, yeah.
Mhm.
Becker and Hernandez.
Mhm.
Dare I ask, what are you obsessed with this week?
Um
Anything?
what what else is new? Junwon Cha straight line footwork in his short program. It always gets me. It was great. I was just like I didn't even remember that he popped the sow by the time I got to that. I
That
was
program
all
was
in.
so good.
Beautiful.
I really love that
Beautiful.
program.
Like reminds me why I watch figure skating. Just love him so much.
Yeah. Um,
How
I,
about you?
I'm obsessed about Yusong Kim getting that redemption free skate and moving up. I thought she probably could have moved up a little bit more still,
Mhm.
but that short program was a hot mess,
Mhm.
and it was good to see her get it back together. And the triple axel was great. Um, both of their jump rotational speeds remind me a lot of Kimi Rapon,
Mm.
like a very similar sort of like,
Yeah.
they're both very
Mhm.
compact and almost like, like you're spinning a pencil.
Yeah.
It's a very efficient rotation, and I wonder how that's going to go as they grow up more over the next couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Kimi Rapon's been able to keep her technique, and
Mm-hmm.
her jumps have gotten bigger and all that stuff. I think that's the Kims will need that as well as
Mm-hmm.
they continue to grow.
Well, I mean, Adam Rapon likes to talk about how Kimmy Rapon is coached by her older sister, and it's probably the meanest someone can be to you is your older sister coaching you. And so it's like, you better believe Kimmy's jumps are clean.
Right.
I don't know if the twins have that good fortune, but we'll see.
Be funny. All right. Well, we will be back in just a couple days for a midweek episode because we will be talking about both the Junior Grand Prix final and the Senior Grand Prix final, which will be taking place very soon. And we gotta get ourselves ready
Can't
for
wait.
for this overnighter, multiple
Yeah.
overnighters, because now
Yeah.
we have two competitions in one in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And then also next week will be the less heralded but also very well attended Golden Spin. Every single year, Golden Spin has something interesting for us. So,
Field's packed.
yeah, we will be paying attention to all of that. Like, this is, if you are new to the figure skating world, this week is going to be like an explosion of figure skating for you all. It's quite the week, and we're just after this week, it's going to be all nationals all the time for the next month. So, and Christmas and New Year's, all of that.
You're going to Japan for
Yeah.
Japanese
I'm
nationals
going to
over
Japan.
Christmas.
Oh boy, so excited! All right, well, thank you, Michelle.
Thanks, Jackie.
We will be back for the preview show for the Grand Prix final, probably on Wednesday. Actually, probably earlier because I think the Junior Grand Prix final starts on Wednesday.
Mm.
So let's check the schedule and get back to you. But for Michelle Ellis, this is Jackie Wong, Chief Skate Nerd of RockerSkating.com. Thank you, as always, to John Wilson Blades for sponsoring us and to Tara Nichols for helping us sound like we know what we're talking about. So we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.